Hello, my loves. My name is Vish, and welcome to the Once Upon a Readathon announcement video. This readathon was created by the lovely, our Lord and Savior, Hannah from Hannah Blackwell. I am one of the co-hosts this year, and I'm so glad Hannah asked me to be a part of this. This readathon will run the whole month of June, so from June 1st to June 30th. So, first things first, we have teams. So the teams are Team Dragon, Team Djinn, Team Pirates, and Team Mer People. I will introduce the team captains of each team in a bit, but can you guess which team I'm in? This readathon has a point system, and this point system pits each team against each other, but we all have allies. So the Djinn and Dragons are allies, and the Mer People and Pirates are allies. Basically, you can read any book that you want, and each book will gain you 100 points. But if you would like to earn additional points, you will gain 50 additional points if you read a book that has a LGBTQIA+ or a BIPOC author. You can also earn additional 50 points by reading a book that is set in water or it has a water setting, i.e. like a book set on a boat in the ocean, or set in a lake house or by a lake, on a beach, on an island, etc. Depending on which team you join, you will gain an additional 50 points by reading a book that features your team mascot. Meaning if you're on Team Pirates, you read a book with a pirate in it and you will gain 50 points. You can also read books to damage your enemy, not your allies, because you cannot damage your allies, only your enemies, by reading a book containing their mascot. Let's say if you're on Team Djinn and you read a book that contains a pirate, therefore you will decrease their points by 50. So if you would like to join in on the fun, there is a sign-up sheet down below for you to sign up and choose your team. And we also have a Discord server where we can share what we're gonna read, any book recs that you have, and also team-only chats. I hope this was not all too confusing, but there is a Google Drive link down below for you to check out where there's all the information that I've just mentioned and graphics for you to use to browse at your own leisure and to refer back later. So back to the team captains. First up, we have the Djinns, which are being led by Daphne from the channel Being Daphne, and from Kristen Craves Books. Then we have the Dragon team, which is led by yours truly, and also Abby from Abby Salter. Next, we have the Mer People that are led by Jess from the channel Honest Fiction, and Isa from Fun Fantasy Books. Lastly, we have the Pirates team, which is being led by Maggie from Maggie's Books and Stuff, and Tori from Tori Between Pages. All of their channels are linked down below, so please check them out and subscribe because we're all going to be doing reading sprints throughout the month, and that is the way you'll get notified. And of course, if you join the Discord, you'll get notified there too. And we have something new and exciting this time. We have merch. Hannah graciously created this merch. It's so cute. I haven't gotten my own because I don't have a permanent address yet, and if you're in Australia, when you order things outside of Australia, it takes months to get to you. And again, moving, don't have a permanent address, but when I do get a permanent address, you best believe I'm getting a crew neck because I love a good crew neck. Now that I've thrown all this information at you, let's go through the books that I tentatively want to read in the month of June, and most of them are going to be dragon books because like I said, if you're reading your team's mascot, you get extra points. So let's go through all the dragon books that are my options for the month of June. Let's start with the older dragon books that are on my radar. So first we have Aragon by Christopher Paolini. This is like the classic middle grade YA dragon series that I've heard so much about and I personally have not read. All I know is we have our main character who's this boy that stumbles upon a dragon egg and they bond. That's literally all I know. That's literally all I want to know. And I also heard there is another book coming out. I don't know if it's a continuation of the series or a spin-off of the series, but it is called Murtaugh. Next is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and of course, my man Smaug is in this, and I've only ever watched the movies. I know, the horror. But I do want to read these books, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, before I rewatch the movies. Maybe June is the time I do that. I don't know. but this is another option. And the last older dragon book that I have on my radar is Waking Fire by Anthony Ryan. This is an adult fantasy trilogy that I've had my eye on for a while. The people in this world harvest dragon's blood so that they can give themselves powers, and because of that, the dragon line is weakening. However, there are some whispers in the ether that there is a more stronger, more powerful, more deadly line of dragons out there in existence, and a chosen select few is chosen to go on this quest and find this line of dragons. And from my inference, I think that this line of dragons is going to help get the weakened dragons out of slavery, but we'll see. Next is 2 dragon books that are speculative. They're not completely high fantasy. So the first one is When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. I really loved the author's writing style when I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon. That one's a middle grade novel, which I absolutely loved. And all I know about this is that women were mysteriously turning into dragons and leaving behind their children. That's all I know. And I think it's more like magical realism than straight up high fantasy, but I am very interested in this. I've heard mixed things, but I would like to see for myself. And I feel like this could be about female rage, which I'm always down for. The next book is The Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan, and this one reminds me of the Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. It seems very cozy, and our main character is dedicating her time into studying and researching about the species, whether it be dragons or fairies. And I've just heard such great things from Angela from Literature Science Alliance, and I want to give this one a try. That's the thing. I don't know if it is fully fantasy like Emily Wilde, or it's kind of like historical fiction fantasy. I don't know, but it sounds really, really good and cozy, and I want to give it a try. The next 2 books are just normal high fantasy dragon books that I've had my eye on for a while. The first one is Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. All my friends love this trilogy, and I've been wanting to read this for so long, and now that it's completed, I would like to maybe get to it in June. It is a post-revolutionized world where anyone can be a dragon rider, as opposed to only the elite being the dragon riders. And this series just talks about the politics and consequences of a post-revolutionary world. And I feel like there's not a lot of books out there that do talk about this. It's always books that are the revolution instead of what happens after. The one book that I can kind of recommend for that would be The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and I think that's the only one that comes to mind, but I'm looking forward to seeing how this is executed. The next book I want to talk about is This Woven Kingdom by Tehera Mafi. I did not realize this has a dragon in it. I think one of my friends on Instagram, they mentioned that there's a dragon in this. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Based on that, I'm thinking this has a dragon in this. We follow 2 main characters, Eliza, who is the long-lost heir to the Djinn kingdom, but she's hiding in plain sight. And then we have Kamran, who is the crown prince who has been told a prophecy that his father, the king, is going to die. And he discovers that Eliza, the long-lost heir of this Djinn kingdom, is the one that is going to kill his father. That sounds so good. It has Djinn in this, as it says is a Djinn kingdom, and apparently it has dragons in this world, and I plan to find out. And the last 3 books are actually new releases that I'm very, very excited for. The first one is The Day of Fallen Night by Samantha Shannon. This is the prequel to Priory the Orange Tree, which I loved. Do have some criticisms, but I still loved the world and the characters, and I cannot wait to dive back into this world. And there are 2 types of dragons in this world. There's the Eastern dragons and the Western dragons, and I believe in the Western part of the world, dragons are feared, and in the Eastern parts, they are dragon riders that use dragons and worship dragons, I believe. From what I remember from Priory, it's been a long time since I read it, but I'm still eager to get to this book. And the next new release that I'm excited for is Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. I'm getting the gorgeous Goldsboro edition for this. I'm so excited to see it in person. This is the first book to a new fantasy trilogy, and this follows a world where humans betrayed dragons by stealing their magic and banishing them into a dying world. And centuries later, humans, the ancestors of humans, worshipped them as gods. But these gods remember and do not forgive. I love that line. And I'm so excited to dive into this one. It seems, again, kind of like feminine rage, but dragon rage, you know? I'm excited for that. And the last book on this tentative TBR is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This one I've seen everywhere. Everyone's hyping up this book. And when I read the synopsis for this, I was like, well, I'm kind of gonna join in on the hype. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first book to a fantasy romance series. It could be just a normal fantasy series, but I've heard fantasy romance. And our main character is forced to enroll into a war college to become a dragon rider. And I believe she is disabled. Correct me if I'm wrong, at least from the synopsis, that's what I inferred. But these dragons do not bond to the weak, they incinerate them. And her classmates are not above killing her to get ahead. It sounds excellent. Again, I'm joining in on the hype. Hopefully I can get to it in June. So these are the 10 dragon books that I am going to choose from to read in June. I hope my teammates from Team Dragon find this helpful and are ready to incinerate our enemies. If not,
all right, that's it. Dishonor. Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
Like this video if you like to, subscribe if you want to. All the links for this readathon is linked down below for you to check out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you join us for this readathon, and I will see you next time. Bye!